Hello, my name's Ian Anson Gray, and in this episode of the Confident Live Marketing Show, I'm talking about how we can use Ecamm Live and Restream together to make something pretty amazing. We'll be with you just after this.
This is the Confident Live Marketing Podcast. Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray, helping entrepreneurs level up their impact, authority and profits through the power of live video. Gain confidence in front of the camera, confidence with technology, and confidence with the content and marketing.
Together, we can go live!
Well, hello, Ian Anson Gray here. This is episode 103 of the Confident Live Marketing Show. This is the show that helps you level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And in today's show, I'm going to be talking about how you can use the tools Ecamm Live and Restream together. Because, you know, Ecamm Live and Restream, they are both amazing apps in their own right. But did you know that you could combine them amazingly well together? And so in today's episode, I'm going to show you how you can use both of those so that you can schedule, multi-stream, manage comments from all your different destinations and do so much more. And I will cover OBS Studio and how you can also use Restream Studio with that. So that's going to be great. The show notes for this episode will be found at iag.me/103, which is very, very cool. So this show goes live every Tuesday and Thursday, and if you want to be notified next time we go live, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe, and my handy Facebook Messenger bot will do its thing and do some really cool, exciting things. Now, somebody says, cool, wow, how did you do that? I don't know whether this is, so I am using Ecamm Live with Restream today, and one of the scenes that I've got, and if you're listening to the podcast, you'll be able to hear this, but you won't be able to see this. But anyway, let's do it again. Yeah, so basically that is a scene with the dun 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 sound effect, and I've just got it zoomed into me, and it's pretty cool. I quite like that. So we can have lots of fun. I've got lots of so I've got my designer building some frames, and so one of the things I'm doing over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to be planning lots of different scenes. I've got Mike Stelzner on the show next week talking about Clubhouse, and we're going to have different scenes there, so I can highlight using Clubhouse on my phone, as well as doing screen shares like this as well. So that's pretty cool. I haven't got them all set up yet because there's no point. There's just me. But if I've got a guest on the show, we've got different scenes, and I'll be sharing a little bit more about how we've created them in the future. So that is how we do that. Awesome. Well, this show is sponsored, as always, by Restream Studio and Launch Your Live. So just to tell you a little bit more about Restream. Restream is what I use for all my shows. It allows me to broadcast to a plethora of different destinations. Either using a tool like Ecamm Live or OBS Studio, you can stream to Restream, and that will take care of all your multi-streaming for you. Or what you can do is you can use Restream Studio, which just works in the browser. It's a really easy to use solution where you can bring up to 9 guests onto your show, highlight comments, and do really cool things really easily. And of course, you've got the chat feature, so you can see the comments from all those different channels that you're broadcasting to. Loads of other things about Restream has, like analytics and lots of quite cool geeky things as well, which I'll be talking about in the future. But if you want to find out more, if you want to take Restream for a test drive, all you need to do is go to iag.me/Restream. That's iag.me/Restream. Thank you, Restream, for sponsoring this show. Well, I want to tell you a story. Okay, are you ready for a bedtime story? I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but let's tell you a story, because a long time ago in Streamland, this was back in 2015, there was a guy called Bernard, and Bernard wanted so much to broadcast to his audience. You see, there was a problem. His audience wasn't just on one destination. His audience was scattered across the interwebs and the socials. They were on YouTube. They were on Facebook. They weren't quite on Periscope because Periscope wasn't really a thing back in those days, but they would have been if Periscope was around in those days. It was such a problem, it was so hard for him. He searched far and wide for the best tool to help him, but all he could find was OBS Studio. The problem was that Bernard did fear OBS Studio. It was an incredibly powerful tool, but also really quite clunky. You see, he wanted to broadcast to YouTube, Facebook, and all his other channels. He wanted to schedule his broadcasts so he could promote them in advance. He wanted to monitor and highlight all the comments from all his channels. But alas, it could not be so. There was not a tool to be found that could grant him his wishes. Not unless he waited until a few years later when he did find two tools. They were called Restream and Ecamm Live, and he was incredibly excited and full of joy. Okay, that's a bit of a silly story, but it is true. You know, I was basically Bernard. Back in 2015, I was wanting to do those things. You could technically, you know, Restream was around in those days. There were other tools out there that allowed you to broadcast to all these different channels, but there was a problem. You know, there was this fragmentation of the comments. You broadcasted to YouTube or Facebook or both of them at the same time, and you couldn't easily monitor the comments on those different channels. There was this fragmentation. You know, you would have to go over to basically you'd have to have like 5 monitors in front of you with Facebook up, YouTube, and all those different channels, and make sure that you were monitoring those comments. And so you could use OBS Studio, you could set up your own server, you could use Restream, but it wasn't great in those days. And if you wanted to schedule, that was also a problem. You couldn't schedule to Facebook and YouTube all at the same time either. Well, I'm so thankful because at least for the last year or so, you've been able to do all those things. You can now schedule your live broadcasts to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So you can promote those in advance, promote them all in advance to email and social. You can also broadcast to all those different channels, and you can get the comments, and you can use either the browser or use a really cool tool like Ecamm Live or OBS Studio as well. Now, one of the things I love about the integration between Ecamm Live and Restream, which I'll show you in a little bit, is the way that you can get the comments in from Restream to Ecamm Live. So Restream broadcasts to all those different channels, which is awesome, but they're not just kept within Restream. Restream will send those out to Ecamm Live. And so I can do things like I can see, for example, Carl up here saying, "Hello, buddy, looking forward to this." I can highlight that on the screen. It's really cool. Although that, I think you posted that on Facebook, haven't you, Carl? You're on Facebook. I don't know whether anyone else is on a different channel, whether anyone's watching on YouTube or LinkedIn. But if you are, pop a comment in and then I'll be able to see that there. That would be really awesome. Okay, so that's what you can do today. You can basically do just about everything that you want. And, you know, scheduling is really important because for a number of reasons, this wasn't possible until like over a year ago when Restream added the facility to add events. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that in a bit. But now you can, with Restream, you can set up ahead of time a post to Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. That means that you can then send an email out to your list. You can put it on social. If you're using Facebook, of course, you can use Facebook Messenger bots. And if you're posting on my Facebook page, you'll probably notice that you'll get the Facebook Messenger bot sending you a message. And so that's what happens there. This is using Facebook Messenger bots, which I've talked about on the show. We've had Sasha Lydiard on the show talking all about that. And we've had also Amanda Robinson as well in the past talking about that. So I can see that Melissa is saying hi from Facebook. Awesome to see you, Melissa. Thank you for that. So that's Restream. And the other thing that you can do, so let's go over to to Restream now. And so this is the events part of Restream. So if I just go to the main page here. Okay, so I can show you the main page. And what this does, this will show you the different destinations that I've got here. So for example, I've got YouTube and Facebook. I've got LinkedIn. I've got Twitch, VK, DLive. I don't know what that is, actually, what that one is. Maybe that one is, yeah, that might be Amazon. I've been tweaking with, playing around with Amazon Live, so that might be what that is as well. So you can set up all those channels, connect them, and then Restream knows how to then broadcast to those different channels. And it also knows, in the case of Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and possibly one or two others, I can't remember. It also enables you to see the comments, that if people are actually commenting on their... oh, thank you. So the person here is Expert Man. I love that, Expert Man. So what are you an expert in? Let me know. So that is... So basically here in Restream, got the dashboard, which shows you all the channels that you can broadcast to. The next section is events, and this is awesome. So here I can see I've got an event next Tuesday at 8 p.m. This is episode 104, how to use Clubhouse to grow your community. This is with Mike Stelzner. I've set this up in advance. I'm broadcasting to YouTube, a couple of Facebook channels, and oh, okay, that's interesting. It's popped up with 103 there as well. And LinkedIn, and then 8 others as well. So you can set this up in advance, which is great. There are loads of other places you can go to. There's video storage, there's the scheduler, and what else? We've got analytics, the chat app, and other places as well. So I will show you a little bit more about how you can do that in the future, but this is pretty awesome. Now let me see. I don't know whether I can do this. I'm going to see if I can enter the live video studio and show you Restream Studio, but I might not be able to do this while I broadcast live. Okay, that's really weird. This might go weird. Okay. Oh yeah, that's okay. So this is because I'm showing my I'm showing a different webcam with it. Okay, I'm using yeah, I know why. I'm using the Ecamm virtual cam, so it's broadcasting my show onto the screen, so I'm getting this virtual effect here. So this is great. I can now set this up. I can bring in my guest, for example. If I just click on that, I can invite my guest on, and this will give me a special URL link. I can play a local video. I can share my screen. And if I had a guest on, I'd have lots of different layouts here. For example, I could have dual split screen. I could have picture-in-picture and things like that. I could also add captions as well. So if I want to add, for example, Restream Studio, go live from your browser, I can do that. And then that will just appear at the bottom left there. What else can I do? Let's hide that. I can go to graphics, and I can do things like, so for example, I had Samantha on my show last week, so I can just put her picture on there. So this was for the Go Live with Confidence show. So you can add logos, you can add videos and backgrounds and all that kind of thing. It's pretty awesome. So that is Restream Studio. This is the browser-based version of this. But I'll tell you a little bit more how you can use Restream with other tools out there, such as OBS Studio and Ecamm Live. Question. We've got a question from Carl. Let's have a look at this. So Carl is saying, where can I find the stream you did about messenger bots? I missed that one and really could do with that info. Well, the place that you need to go, Carl, is the best place to go to is iag.me/podcast. And this has got all my previous episodes. So if you go to iag.me/podcast, and then what you can do when you're there, you can actually on the screen, you can highlight, so you can then look for the different types of episodes. So let me just show you this. This is iag.me/podcast. And if we go down here, then you can click on confidence and mindset, content and marketing, or tech and gear. So in the case of bots, we want tech and gear. So you just click on tech and gear. That will do its thing. And let's go down. So here we go. It's episode 92. So you can find that out if you go to iag.me/92. That will take you to the episode I did with Sasha called How to Use Facebook Bots to Supercharge Your Live Video Marketing. Now, I also did one a while ago with Amanda Robinson. That's going to take me a while to get to. But if we go back in time, there we go. It's iag.me/53, which was how to create bots for your live video shows. So I hope that helps, Carl. And Carl also asks the question, would you add a guest through Restream or Ecamm? That's a really good question, Carl. So it really depends on how you're utilizing Restream. Restream Studio is standalone. So you just use Restream for that. It works in the browser. You get the link, the invite link in Restream Studio. You give that to your guest and they pop up within Restream Studio. Just simple as like that. Now, the second option is if you use a tool like Ecamm Live or OBS Studio and you want to bring in a guest. So in that situation, Ecamm Live broadcasts to Restream, and then Restream takes that and broadcasts it out to all those different destinations. You're using Restream as this kind of intermediary tool. So that basically takes your stream from the tool that you're using and then broadcasts it out everywhere else. That's all it does. I mean, I say all it does. It is amazing at what it does, but that's it. And you use OBS Studio or Ecamm Live as your switcher, as your live video tool, your main one. And that's the tool where you need to bring in your guest. So what I'm doing today, I'm using Ecamm Live. If I had a guest today, I would bring them in using Ecamm Live. So I hope that kind of answers your question. One of the disadvantages with OBS Studio is that you can't really bring in a guest very easily. You have to jump through quite a few hoops, like bring them in using Zoom or some other platform like OBS Ninja, and then capture that it within OBS Studio. It's a bit more geeky that way. So I hope that helps for you. And no problem, Carl. Hope that helps. So yeah, so you can use Restream Studio. That's standalone, and I would definitely recommend that for beginners. I love Ecamm Live and OBS Studio because it gives you more power. So I can add, for example, I can add frames. By the way, I can add frames on Restream Studio, but I can I've just got more flexibility. So, for example, when I was playing the story scene, this one, I have some background music playing. I've got some text that comes in. I've got a little teddy bear there. For the dun dun dun, that zooms in. So I can do loads of cool things like that. I've got full control over the way it looks and feels. And I just love that control that I get with Ecamm Live. There's so many features that it has. Same with OBS Studio. You've got loads of features that make it really cool. So I love Ecamm Live with Restream Studio because it combines all those different elements. I can schedule to all those different destinations using Restream, and then I can use Ecamm Live to stream to Restream and all those different channels and get all the power of Ecamm Live as well. Now, why don't I use OBS Studio? I used to use OBS Studio. I put together a course back in 2016 on OBS Studio. It sold really well. I was a big advocate of it, and so maybe let's look at the reasons why you should use OBS Studio. If you are looking for a free tool, if you are a PC user, then again, OBS Studio might be the tool for you because it's free. It's also cross-platform. It works on Macs. It works on PCs. It even works on Linux as well. So OBS Studio is great from that point of view. It's also great in the flexibility and the power. So you can do amazing things like cropping images and rotating frames and all this kind of stuff. And if you want to get really geeky and look into the bit rate and the frame rate and the resolution and whether you're going to use your graphics card to encode your video or all that kind of stuff, then OBS Studio is going to be great for you. But the downsides with OBS Studio is it's an absolute nightmare to bring in a guest. Yes, you can use tools like Skype and Zoom and OBS Ninja, but you're having to jump through quite a few hoops to get it working. And also things like being able to see the comments, You can't show comments on the screen. It's not built into OBS Studio. In fact, there's no real social media interaction at all. You actually have to put in a stream key and a stream URL. So you have to get that from Facebook or YouTube and then put it into OBS Studio or use Restream and do it that way. So it's great if you want that customizability, if that is a word. If you are willing to jump through a few hoops, if you are looking for something that's free, then OBS Studio is amazing from that point of view. But I love Ecamm Live. Yes, it's Mac only, and so it only works on a Mac. Sorry, PC users. But it does combine all those amazing features. It allows you to schedule. It allows you to bring in all those comments. It allows you to do some amazing things on the screen just to make a really professional broadcast. I love the combination of the two, and I think it's a real marriage made in heaven. So I hope that hope you agree with me. But I'm going to show you a little bit more about how you can integrate those in a little bit. So just to let you know, if you've just joined, welcome. This is the Confident Live Marketing Show, episode 103, and I'm talking about how you can use Ecamm Live with Restream together. It's amazing. Now, I want to let you know about my second sponsor of the show, which is actually one of my own products. It is Launch Your Live. Now, Launch Your Live is all about how you can set up and launch your live show with confidence so that you can communicate and communicate with your audience with confidence. But this time, this March, it's not just about your live show. It's also how you can repurpose your live show into a podcast as well. You know, a lot of my audience, a lot of people come to me and they say, Ian, I really want to launch a live show, but I also want to launch a podcast as well. How do I do that? How do I do what you're doing with the Confident Live Marketing Show? And so with the Launch Your Live, that's what this is going to be about. I'm going to teach you all the things that you need to know about that. So here is a little bit more about next month's Launch Your Live. Hello, do you want to launch a professional live show and a podcast? You know, a regular live show is so powerful for so many reasons. First of all, it's a great way to grow your audience and community, people who actually want to work with you and buy from you. And of course, once you launch it, it becomes a powerful repurposing engine. Launch Your Live is a 10-day course that teaches you how to launch a successful live show. But not only that, it also helps you to launch your podcast from your live show. In the course, we'll cover how to plan, promote, produce, and repurpose your live shows and podcasts, and I'll be sharing with you my templates and processes with you. I'll cover all the gear and tools that you need, including cameras, lights, microphones, and live video tools such as Ecamm Live, Restream, and OBS Studio. I'll show you how to use those things to level up your impact, authority, and profits. I'll be sharing my top camera and communication tips with my Confident Live warm-up formula, and that includes things like improving your posture, breath control, diction, and more, and getting over maybe that fear and anxiety that sometimes you feel when you press that go live button. The course is drip fed over the first 5 days, and I'll be giving live training in the group every single day for that first week. The second week is all about doing and practicing, putting all of that you've learned into producing a successful live show and podcast. So I can't wait to work with you. What are you waiting for? Join the waiting list or sign up below, and let's launch your live. So there you go. If you want to find out more, if you want to get on the waiting list for that, just go to iag.me/LYL. If you're watching the live show, it's in March. If you're listening to the podcast, it's going to be in April or May, the next one that we do this. So that's really exciting. So let's look at the comments. And of course, if you're listening to the podcast or watching in the future and you want to join the show live, just go to confident.live/subscribe. So Melissa is asking a question. What if you're using a Mac, but your guest has a PC? And that's a great question. Really good question. So if you're using Restream Studio, it doesn't matter whether you, the host, are a Mac or a PC user, because Restream Studio works on all platforms. It works in the browser. And the same for your guest. They can go either on a Mac or a PC, or they could even do it from their smartphone or iPad or something like that. I wouldn't recommend that, but they technically can do that. If you're using Ecamm Live. You, the host, obviously have to have a Mac because Ecamm Live only works on a Mac. Your guest, however, they can be on a PC or a Mac or a phone or a tablet because, again, the interface, the interview mode interface works within the browser. And if you want to know more about that, I've done quite a few shows on this in the past. Let me just have a quick look now. Let's go back to this. Let me just share my screen again. So I had Katie from Ecamm on, this was iag.me/91 is when I had Katie from Ecamm talking about how to interview guests professionally using Ecamm Live interview mode. And I also did my own show on that, my own episode on 84. That's iag.me/84 on how to do that. So there are 2 episodes you can go back to listen to or watch that will show how that works. Now, if you're using OBS Studio, that's more of an issue really, because you, the host, can use a PC or a Mac. Your guest kind of depends on how you're going to bring them in. So, yeah. If you're using OBS Ninja, again, that will work. That works within the browser, but it's a bit more complicated. So I hope that helps. Melissa says, brilliant, thanks. And Carl says, did I win a place on Launch Your Live with you on this coming course? Do you know what, Carl? You did. You did. And I will be sending information about that fairly soon. I just got a few extra things to put into place. And just to let you know, just a bit of personal stuff. Oh my goodness, it's been a bit mad. In the UK, we've been in a hard lockdown. The kids have been working at home. My daughter's been amazing, but my son just has needed just a little bit more hands-on attention. And my wife and I had obviously been working, and yes, been a bit challenging, but the schools do go back on March the 8th, so things will hopefully get a little bit less hectic. Let me know how you're getting on, where you are in the world. Have things been a little bit mad for you? Are things going to calm down? Let me know. Okay, so let's talk about how we can use Ecamm Live with Restream. And so what I first of all want to show you is how to set up an event using Restream. So let's do that now. So what you need to do, first of all, if you've got Restream, first of all, go to iag.me/Restream, and you can set up a free Restream account. The only thing with the free account is that there will be a watermark. And second of all, that's if you're using Restream Studio. And if you're using Restream to go live, there will be a little bit of text at the end just to say that you're using Restream Studio. That's why they give it you for how they can give it to you for free. And also you can only go live to your Facebook profile, not your Facebook page and group. That's but if you have a paid plan, you can do all of that cool stuff. So the first thing that we need to do is go to events within the dashboard, and then we're going to create an event. And then there are 2 options. Do you want to schedule a live stream, which is what we obviously want to do in this case, but you can also schedule a pre-recorded video. So if you've got a video that you've had in the past, you can actually stream that pre-recorded video live. Now, just one thing about that, Facebook and YouTube, they have something called Facebook Premiere or YouTube Premiere or Premiere, however you pronounce that thing. I always get confused. So I would personally use Premiere for that, but the good thing about this is it does allow you to broadcast a pre-recorded video as if it was live. So, well, it kind of is live, and you can engage with your comments, and you can kind of do a hybrid live, do it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on schedule a live stream. And the first thing that you need to do is then add your title. So I'm going to add my title as this. This is an amazing show. And then then I add the description. This is the description of an amazing show. Obviously, you will want to make your title and description much better than that. And then obviously we've got the box there checked that says schedule for later. So we obviously want to do that. Now, then you can schedule your live video for later. Now, Facebook, for example, they only allow you to schedule a live video 10 minutes in advance as the minimum, and up to a week, 7 days in the future. YouTube is very flexible. You can do whatever you like, basically, with YouTube. There might be an upper limit of a year. I've never managed to test it, but that's what you can do with YouTube. LinkedIn is a little bit more picky. We'll put it that way. But basically, I would recommend that you schedule up to a week in advance. I'm going to just schedule this for next Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. The next thing you can do is you can upload your image. I'm not going to do that now, but you want to upload an image that is 1920 times 1080. You can upload in 720, but I recommend 1920 times 1080 is a good size for that. Let's click on next now. So this is where you select your destinations, where you want to go live. And depending on how many channels you've added to Restream, there will, will depend on how long this list is. So what I tend to do is I will uncheck all of these. First of all, I definitely want to do this here because I'm testing this. And I certainly don't want to create a schedule for all of these different destinations. So it just takes a little bit of time to uncheck all of those. I'm sure they'll add an uncheck all button at some point. So I can see it. We've got YouTube there at the top. So I'm going to select that. I want to go live to YouTube. I'm going to click edit there. And then you can change the privacy settings for that particular one. I'm going to change that to unlisted. So this is just a test one. I just want to test this. And the other good thing about this is you can technically have a different title and description for each channel. So for example, I could say on here, this is on YouTube. Okay, so let's do that. Let's click save for that. Okay, let's go down to Facebook. So I'm going to go to my Facebook group there and then select that. This is a test. Okay. Click on save. That's cool. Now, so you can schedule to YouTube. You can schedule to Facebook groups, pages, and profiles. You can also do that to LinkedIn. I'm not going to do that now, but you can schedule a LinkedIn live as well if you have access to that. But you can't schedule to Periscope. What this will do is this will, when you go live in the future at this time, it will then just create the post as you go live on Periscope. It will do the same for Twitch as well. I'm going to do that. VK, all the other channels as well. Now for Amazon Live at the bottom, I've created that as a custom RTMP. Basically, that is with some channels, you are given a stream key and a stream URL. I've just put that in there and I've called that Amazon Live, and that allows me to broadcast to Amazon Live on. Not going to go into a huge amount of detail about that, but that's how you do that. So I'm going to just uncheck the Seriously Social Live. I don't want to go live there, but let's now click on Create Event. Okay. So I've created the event. It takes probably about 10 seconds to do that as well. Okay, that's now done, I think. Is that done? And close that down. And now you can see there isn't a thumbnail there, but if you're listening to the podcast, I've got all my events listed down. And now I can see on March the 2nd, Tuesday, 6:45 p.m. This is an amazing show. Now, what I can do here is I can click on the event on YouTube. So I can either click on the little logo there, or I can click on the three dots and click on View on YouTube. That's the only one that's actually been scheduled. So let's click on that now. And then in another tab, it's opening up that scheduled post. Okay, so there it is. This is an amazing show. I can see it's unlisted. It doesn't have a thumbnail, so it's using my standard channel there. And it's got everything sorted. Now, when I go live to that, that will then start to go live. So that is pretty cool. Okay, let's go back. So what I can do is, of course, I can now delete that. I can also, if I'm going live on Restream Studio, I can invite my guests. But what I want to talk about now is I want to talk about then how you use Ecamm Live with that. Well, what happens is, so let me just click on live demo mode now. So hopefully you can see this on the screen. Let me know if you can see this on the screen if you're watching live. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to describe what's on the screen now. But basically, I'm sharing Ecamm Live. Now, at the moment, you won't be able to see this. There's a little blue button that says finish on the bottom right. That's because I'm currently broadcasting live. But if I wasn't broadcasting live, it would have a selector there that allows me to select the destination that I'm going live to. So that could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be Periscope, until Periscope is just about to go away and die. So that will, if you're listening to this in the future, it won't be there, unfortunately. LinkedIn Live has also been added to Ecamm, which is awesome. And also Restream. So what I would do is I would select Restream there, and then it gives me two options. Do I want to go live now, or do I want to go live to an event? So I select event, and this is the really cool part. Those three events that I've got here in you won't be able to see this, but if I go there, those three events that I've set up in Restream will appear in that drop down, and then I can then select it. So that's what I did just before this show. I actually selected Restream, and then I selected episode 103, how to use Ecamm Live with Restream together. And then it gave me a countdown timer until I was going to go live. I actually went live 2 minutes early. I always like to do a countdown. And so that's how you do that with Restream and Ecamm Live. Now, the other cool thing is that you can all the comments from all those different channels are appearing here. Now, at the moment, I think I've only got people watching on Facebook, possibly my group, and also my Facebook page. I haven't got anyone that's commented on YouTube yet or LinkedIn. I'm not quite sure why that is, but anyway, there we go. And I can see that all of those there. And so I can, for example, highlight them. I can highlight Melissa on the screen like that, and then remove. I can also do that same with Carl. All of these are actually being sent by Restream, and then I can highlight them on the channel, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing that you can do, now I'm not sure this is going to work okay. Let me just see if I can do this. Okay, give me a second. So one thing that you can do with Restream is you can download the chat app. Now this is cool. Let's see if I can get this working. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to just change this to the Restream chat. Okay, and just make that a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, so what this is an app that you download for your Mac or your PC, and it shows all your different comments here. And then what I can do is I can then reply to all of these. So I can go, hello, I am typing this from Restream chat, the chat app. Now what this does is it will then send that to all those different channels that I am broadcasting to, which is amazing. Now, there are loads of other settings as well. So I think I've looked at these in the future. You can change the appearance, the notifications. Reply commands are cool. So what these are, if we just wait a little bit. Okay, is this going to show? Okay, hopefully you can see that okay. So reply commands, so I can create these. So for example, exclamation point 1 is going to say, thanks for watching. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. Okay, I can also repeat that with a timer. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to create that. Okay, so that's now successfully created. And I'll show you that in a second. There's also the bot. What this will do is it will, if you're watching on Facebook, it will take your comment and repost that on YouTube. So all my YouTube viewers will be able to see all my Facebook comments from all my users, which is amazing. So let's just close that down, and let's just go over here. So I'm going to just put this up here so people who are watching can see. And I'm going to put exclamation mark 1 in here. And you won't be able to see this, but what will happen is it will actually put in that comment that I just put in the reply commands. I don't see it yet, but there's probably a little bit of a delay there. So that is cool. That is really good. I can see that the wonderful Martin Buckland is watching. So I'm going to go back to live demo mode. You can see that Martin is here. No LinkedIn too. Awesome to see Martin. How are you doing? So let's just put your comment on the screen like that. So Martin is watching on LinkedIn. Awesome to see you. And yeah, so that is why I love the combination of Ecamm Live and Restream. It allows me to do all of those things together. So let me know if you've got any comments, any questions. What do you think about that combination? Is that a little bit overwhelming? If it is, don't worry. Just start with the simple stuff. Start with the basics of Ecamm Live, or use Restream Studio and do it that way. That will really, really help, I'm sure. Now, I can see that Melissa said, I've just had the vaccine today. Well, congratulations, Melissa. If you're watching or listening in the future, yes, we are in 2021, in the middle of the worldwide pandemic. And yeah, that's, how do you feel? Hope you feel okay. Very exciting for us. Helen and I, my wife and I, we're getting our vaccine tomorrow. Now, because we both have asthma, we've got some underlying, not particularly bad asthma, but we're getting the vaccine tomorrow. So we're really excited about that. It's a bit sad when you get excited about things like that, but I am excited because the sooner that happens, the sooner hopefully I can get to hug my parents and get to some vague sense of normality. I hope we can do that. So yeah, that's how that all works. That's how you can use Restream with Ecamm Live, and I can't wait to share with you some more information on some of the things that we can do. It's really, really cool. Awesome. I can see that Stephen Healy is here. Awesome to see you, Stephen. And Stephen's been a great help to me. Stephen knows, if you don't know Stephen, he is just knows so much about live video tools, and I think you will forgive me to say this. You are a fellow live streaming geek, Stephen. So definitely check out Stephen. If you put your website in the comments so that we can, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but you've been so helpful to me. That's cool. Melissa says, I can't feel the injection. Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm not very good with needles, but anyway, hope that's going to be okay tomorrow. Awesome. Well, we're at the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching live, for watching the replay, or for listening to the podcast. If you want to join one of my future shows, all you need to do is go to confident.live/subscribe. Do check out Launch Your Live. The course comes, the doors open, if I can get my words out, the doors open on March 7th. And I'm really excited about that. So if you go to iag.me/LYL for that, that's iag.me/LYL. You can find out more about that, and got some really cool things coming with that. And do come on next week and watch episode 104 or listen to it. I've got Mike Stelzner from Social Media Examiner. We're talking about Clubhouse. We've talked about Clubhouse once before on the show, and I can't wait to bring him on. Carl Sullivan says, loved it. Thank you so much. And Stephen admits what we all knew was true, that he is indeed a geek. Well, you're in good company. And his website is livevideoproduction.net. So definitely check that out. Awesome. Well, we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and I will see you, of course, next time. And I encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of Confident Live Video. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Confident Live Marketing Podcast with Ian Anderson Gray. Be sure to join the community at iag.me, where you can continue to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of live video. And until next time, toodaloo.